Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be going over the brand new Claudette collection from Nars Cosmetics. I picked up the eye palette, the cheek palette, as well as two lipsticks in two different formulas, and I will be doing a full demo. But beforehand, you guys know the drill. I gotta give you the 411. Let's get into the packaging first because it kind of confused me until I realized that this collection was for the founder's mother, Claudette. And then I was like, oh, ding, 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 duh. So when I opened this, of course, I go straight for the eyeshadow palette first because I love eyeshadows. I love playing on my eyes. And so yeah, I naturally gravitated straight for this. And this is the Claudette Saint Germain. I'm not pronouncing everything, but this is the palette, and these are the colors inside. We have 6 different shades, 3 of which are mattes, 2 ultra shiny shimmers, and then 1 more of a satin shimmer on the inside. This is a limited edition eyeshadow palette for $49. It features 6 warm neutral shades in matte, satin, and shimmer finishes. If you can see on the palette, it has little hearts all over it, which immediately made me think, is this a Valentine's Day collection? My mind just went all the way there. It's a beautiful palette though. I think they did it very elegantly. Sometimes packaging that's a little overly Valentine's or a little overly something else. I do love my cute packaging, do not get me wrong, but sometimes I'm like, hey, I don't know if I like you, but I like this one. I like the black with the gold and the red. I like that color combo in general, but it's very beautiful. Definitely made me think of Valentine's Day. The next palette has butterflies all over it, which oh, I could have just had the butterflies all over everything. This to me is so beautiful, and I love this high lacquer shine. Usually with NARS you get that grippy texture, not with these. These are super, super luxe. And do you see the size of this palette? When I was purchasing it, I was just expecting it to be a smaller blush duo. No. Now when you open it up, you've got these gorgeous blush shades, which you can use them on their own or blend them together. Both of these colors are right up my alley, but I will say I'll be blending more than anything. The Claudette Cheek Duo retails for $45 and is also limited edition. It contains 2 sophisticated matte blush shades for a natural looking rush of color. Again, with the butterflies, so pretty, they're so pretty. I'm so easily amused over here. But I picked up 2 lipsticks, one in the original Audacious formula and the other in the Audacious Sheer Matte formula. I cannot pronounce both of these, so it'll be in the swatches. Augustine is an Audacious lipstick retailing for $34. It is limited edition and it is described as a taupe nude. Then we have the Audacious Sheer Matte Lipstick limited edition, and the color description is that it's a pink nude. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into demoing each of these products. I do want to forewarn you that if this eye look looks slightly different, not as pretty. I'm telling you, the one I did yesterday was prettier than the one I did today. I was probably in a little bit of a rush because yesterday's video did not go over as planned. So there's that. But I just wanted to try to recreate what I did yesterday. So there's that. Anywho, let's jump in. Sonia G Classic Cheek, and I'm going to take the more peachy shade in the palette. I'm going to knock some of this off because it just seems like maybe I don't need that much. Start tapping it onto the skin and then blending it in. Just a reminder that I do like to go just a little bit heavier and then go over top of everything, buff it, and it will kind of lessen the appearance of the blush as well as just make everything mesh together. I wiped off as much of that blush as I possibly could, and I'm going to use the other side for the other shade in the palette. This shade I would describe as more of like a peachy bronze. Again, I'm going to tap off some, and I'm specifically using brushes that I thought would pick up just a little bit better because the formula of this blush is a little bit harder pressed in there. My favorite is definitely this side, but there's not a huge difference, and even whenever I put them together yesterday, which is how I'm going to continue to use them, it looked good that way as well. It looked pretty darn similar. I went ahead and added each color to each side of my cheeks so that I could kind of even them out, and then of course I buffed. Now let's move on to the two lipsticks that I purchased. I went ahead and picked up two nudes mainly because of the mask situation. I am going to have to be really tempted by a color that's not nude for me to purchase, and I'm sure that's going to happen. There was one in this collection that I really wanted to pick up, but I'm just like, I don't need it, and I know I have other things in my collection as far as reds and corally reds, things like that. So I decided to just go with the nudes. And yes, I am one of those people that after I take off my mask, I like for my liner to still be there, and I will put my lipstick back on. I don't even care if anyone's gonna see me. I don't care if in my car. I just want my lips to have color on them. I can't help myself. So the two shades that I picked up, I'm pretty sure I labeled them in the beginning, so I'm not going to try to pronounce these. This entire collection is just throughout with things that I cannot pronounce, so I'm just not going to try. This one though is Augustine. Right after I said I wasn't going to try. Yeah, that's me for you. There's two different formulas I picked up. The Audacious formula, which I am such a fan of, and then the other one is a Audacious Sheer Matte lipstick, which I have not tried before. I'm going to save the Audacious lipstick in Augustine for last, and I'm going to go in with this one, the Audacious Sheer. Before I put this on, I do already have my lips lined. I didn't fill them in, but I just went right around the edges just to add a little bit of definition, but you can still see the color. This is from Chanel. It's number 156. It's some kind of beige natural. It has a nice scent to it. It's light. It kind of reminds me of the MAC Powder Kiss, but I might like this better. It just depends on how it looks when I get close up. The Audacious Sheer Matte formula. This feels really good on my lips. It feels very airy. It has a little bit of slip to it, but not slippery, just like it's not going to get, you're not going to drag on your lips if you try to move them. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off, and we're going to put on the other in the Audacious formula. Did not disappoint either. This is such a pretty color. I thought that I was going to end up putting the other color back on just because it's different. I like the way it feels, but this is different too. It kind of reminds me of a softer version of Lust Angeles. If you're a fan of that shade from Pat McGrath, this is like the calmed down, a little less intense, it doesn't have as much depth in the color. And I love it, and I love the Audacious formula. And another thing that I really like is that one formula has the red component with the butterflies, and the opposite formula has the black with the butterflies. I just think that's so pretty. And then of course the classic magnetic closure. I love these. These are definitely a hit. Now let's get into the other products. The eye palette is beautiful as well. I think this performed so well. I wish that my tutorial had been the actual talk through that it was supposed to have been, because as I was going through each shade, I was talking about why I was doing certain things and all of that. So let me go ahead and talk you through that now. The very first shade that I used was this middle shade. This has so much pigmentation. It is pigmented, which I'm sure you could see right whenever I popped it on the outer portion of my lid before I blended it up. Now I did that because out of all of these shades, there's not one in the matte formula that is a little bit lighter, so I needed to use one of these darker shades and blend it upwards. It's not patchy, it's not hard to blend. All I did was take the excess from my brush, which will sheer it out, which is definitely what I wanted to happen, because I wanted to have that purpley undertone from the shade to peek through the edges. Usually I would go in with an orange shade and have that peek through the edges, or even go down with this shade and then take a lighter orangey or peachy tone on a fluffy brush and I can go right around the edges. But with all of these shades being deeper, I needed to take one and just sheer it out and blend it upwards, and this did that very, very well. If you see, there's a spot up here on my lid. I don't know what I am doing. I mean, I know to an extent, but I think I have a scar right here. I think that I picked at one of the little spots I had, and now I have a scar right here, which is amazing. But that was not the shadow by any means. And then after that, I went in with this shade. I wanted to see if this had enough pigmentation to go over the edge of this one, still have enough that you could see the color even over top of where I really packed it on. And then I wanted to warm up the crease just slightly so that, again, the purple peeks out. The orangey shade is just kind of a hint, and I really like the way that this came together. And of course you could reverse things or whatever. I just wanted to play around a little bit. No complaints out of the last shade either in the matte section. This is a beautiful deep, deep brown. Not black, but not warm either. I would say it's a neutral brown, but definitely has some depth there. I really like to have these type of depth shades, whether it's black, a brown, or anything like that, as long as it's much deeper than other things in the palette, because I love to smoke out my outer corners. On the top row, we have 3 different sheens. These two, the last shade and the first shade, both have a more intense sparkle, more intense kind of metallic, which I really, really like, and they both worked really well. Also, all the shades at the bottom worked really well. This shade right here, I did experience quite a bit of fallout with, but I just wiped it away, no big deal. And you can definitely use these wet. After I was done with my look yesterday, yesterday was not fun. It just wasn't fun. But I took this and I was like, you know what? I've already ruined my makeup, so let me take my finger and I applied it, and then I applied it wet, and it just intensifies. And I love the gold on the inner corner. And then I really like that they changed the formula for the center one. It's not like the outer two. This one is softer. You can really melt this one into your skin. You can put it on your inner corner, highlight, just do whatever. I would use this one for more daytime appropriate looks. It's a really nice 6-pan palette. It's beautiful and definitely one that I'm excited about. I'm definitely going to be using this. I will say, keep in mind it is a little bit deeper, but with that, so many people are going to be able to use this palette, and I love that. I love the depth, I love the color, and I love the formula. So this is definitely a hit. The one that is a little iffy, which is kind of surprising because I feel like NARS has just been doing so good with their formula, but I'm going to have to hold off on my official thoughts on this because I do know that sometimes when things are a little bit harder pressed in the pan, they can soften up over time. This is the Claudette Blush Duo. I love both of the colors. I really, really do. If I had to pick, I would pick this one, but both of these shades are right up my alley. I think that they are gorgeous. And if you use the right brush, you're going to be able to get pigmentation out of it. But if you use something soft, like a really soft, flimsy synthetic brush, or even a really soft natural hair brush, it's not going to be enough to pick this up. You want to use something that's just a little bit stiffer. And I think that once I'm able to kind of dig through this a little bit, and as I'm using it, I think that it's going to loosen up a little bit. But I still got pigmentation on my skin. I think that the biggest problem is going to be on deeper complexions. You're going to have to build a little bit more than what I had to. So just keep that in mind, that this is a little harder pressed. Use the right brush. And I think that the colors are so pretty. All right, beauties, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.